You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, or Rosenbaum, whatever you want to say. I don't care. It's perfect. I hope you guys are having a lovely week. Thanks for joining us. We're here. Ryan's here in the studio. Mm-hmm. I like to say studio. It's in my house, but I don't want to say an extra room. We're here in my extra room. It's my studio.
It is your studio.
It's a studio.
It was also your studio apartment, and then you expanded and built a house around it. That's the legend.
Exactly what I did.
That's the legend.
Hey, thanks for tuning in and making this podcast your choice. I know you have a lot of choices, so I appreciate it. We've done this a long time. We know what we're doing, and we get some really good interviews. So if you're here for Dean Cain, stay tuned. If you enjoy the podcast and you never heard of us before, if you like it, just subscribe. It'd be great if you go. Let's get inside of Dean Cain. It's my point of view. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not recorded in front of a live studio audience. I love how you turn on the Zoom and you're singing Desperado. That's how it starts.
It playing in the house just beforehand, and I figured I'd turn it off for the podcast because you probably don't need to hear the Eagles in the background the whole time.
I just saw them at the Sphere.
Right here. That's literally right there. Well,
you're in Vegas?
I'm in Vegas. I live in Henderson, Nevada, baby.
Now, do you gamble or you're not into all that stuff?
I mean, I like to play poker, but I've lived here for almost 2 years and I've played poker once.
Wow.
It's just, you don't go to the Strip when you live here. Neighborhood, dead silent. House, 10 times the value you get in California.
What do you do in Vegas, though? What can you do? I could be no. I'm asking that because not because it's lame. It's awesome. But all I know is going there to gamble and see shows.
Part. You can do that part. I like to shoot guns and things.
Right.
I just take all my guns, put them in my truck, drive half an hour from my house. I'm in the desert, set up my targets, have fun.
Wow.
You got Lake Mead right here. If you want to go on Lake Mead, houseboats, things like that, like crazy, especially in the summertime because it's super hot. You got the Hoover Dam right here, 20 minutes from my house. You have the entire Strip, which has every hotel has 9 incredible restaurants. When your friends come in, like when my friends came to LA, they're like, "Hey, Dino, I'm in LA. Let's hook up." I'm like, where are you staying? They're like, "Downtown." I'm like, if you come to Malibu, I'll see you. But I'm not driving an hour and a half to downtown, having dinner, then driving. No.
I hear you.
They're going to the Sphere to see the Eagles. And I go have a drink with them before they go to the show. They're staying in a hotel. Great. I get to see everybody. Every convention comes here. Then you got Mount Charleston, which is mountains and snow. And it's right, an hour from here. You got everything.
Wow. You convinced me. I think I'm going to move to Vegas.
10 times what your place. I sold my house in Malibu for millions of dollars more than this house, which is 10 times the house.
So you're saving money. You're investing that money and living in a place where it's less expensive to live.
Yep. I mean, I got an elevator. I've got a theater, full theater.
You have an elevator in your house.
Yeah.
How many square footage? How much square?
6,500.
6,500. What? Do you live alone?
My son and his girlfriend live here as well.
You have your son and his girlfriend living with you.
He's my 24-year-old. Yeah, it's the best.
Really?
I love it.
Why do you love it?
Because I love my son. He's my favorite human being on the planet.
Oh, that's
like
awesome.
Literally, we sit up at night. We're sitting there. We're downstairs. We'll be sitting in front of the fire, just chatting away, talking about life, talking about this or that or whatever. His girl, or all three of us will be sitting down there. Or my parents who live 5 minutes away, they'll also come over. So it's just family together all the time. And the house is so big. I have an entire wing of the house.
So you don't have to see anybody if you don't want to.
No, nobody.
Dude, I love that. I love your relationship with your son. I wish I had that. With my dad, it's a certain relationship, but it's not something where we could sit there and be open and talk about everything and just it's just not that and never will be. But I think, does it have anything to do with how you were brought up and the father maybe that you didn't have, or you could maybe explain is why you wanted to be a better father and you didn't want that for your son?
My dad, so my biological father I never met. I'm quarter Japanese and my given name is Tanaka, but my mom remarried when I was 4 to my father now. Christopher Cain is my dad. He's a director, but he wasn't back then. He was just a struggling actor. And then he married my mom, who had 2 kids from a prior marriage, who were, quarter Japanese, looked very Japanese as children too. So whenever my dad says to me now, "Oh, you're making a big mistake there," I go, "Dad, you married mom with 2 kids and no job. There's nothing I could do that is dumber than that." So he came into my life and was an unbelievable father. And still is. He's still with us. He's 81 years old. And they left here 10 minutes ago.
Wow.
I get to see my folks all the time.
That's beautiful.
But my dad, if I want to make my dad uncomfortable, I just hug him. And he's like,
my dad was uncomfortable. My grandfather, I used to go, I say, "Irv, I love you." And he goes, "All right, Mike. Okay." And I go, No. I just said, "I love you." "What do you say back?" He goes, what do you want?" I go, "I want you to say, 'I love you' back." So I have to teach this man how to love. And I go, he goes, "I love you. Come on. You know this. What do you," I go, "Give me a hug." He goes, "No, all right." It was, but I love that. I envy that. I think that's a beautiful thing.
My son and I will hug my son and tell him I love him literally 35 times a day.
Does he hate it?
No, he hugs me back.
That's awesome. Let me ask you, your biological father, you never saw again?
No, he died in, I think, 2005.
Did he even know about you? Did you think he knew about you, or?
Oh, I know he knew about me because when I started doing Lois and Clark, season 1, I get a call from my publicist at the time, and he was like, "Hey, these people reached out and said that your biological dad wants to, wants to get in contact with you." I said, but they're through like Inside Edition or something. I think it was Inside Edition.
Wow.
And they want to get in touch through Inside Edition. I was like, "Well, did he try to get in touch with me, without Inside Edition? Just get in touch with me?" "Well, no, I don't think that's the case." And I was like, "Well," and he goes, "So I'm not even going to tell you. I didn't even tell you. Because if I tell them that I told you and you don't respond, that's in the story." So I was just like, whatever, this is ridiculous. And then I watched an interview that he gave on Inside Edition. Just shocked. Watching him talk about, "I don't want to be Dean's dad." I'm like, "I've never seen you before, dude. You can't be my dad. My dad is this 5'9" Dutch English guy named Christopher." And so he was never a part of my life. I never got to know that Japanese side of my family or that history.
So you never went, you never like engaged. You're like, "I'm not, no. This is.
I didn't miss anything. I wouldn't feel like I was needing anything when I was growing up.
No.
And then when I got to that place, I was like, really? I mean, come on. And the interview that he gave made it seem like it made me mad.
What did he say?
Really? He said that he claimed that he was in Vietnam when my mom left him. He was in Atlanta. He was having an affair. I have a brother who's 4 months younger than me. There was a little lap over that. My mom was pregnant with me, and there's a guy 4 months younger than me, also named Tanaka, to the woman that he ended up marrying. And then that broke up and he had more kids. So like these other kids were running around in the video in North Dakota. And he's like, and they've got capes on and stuff. And I was like, what am I watching? What is this?
So you had no interest. You didn't feel anything deep down. Like I wanted nothing. And there was no reason to. You didn't know this.
My dad
like a
is
stranger.
my dad. And my dad is my dad. And he fulfilled me and raised me. And my dad is the single strongest influence in my life, without a doubt. I love my mom and she's the most wonderful mother, but my dad was always there. I needed a dad. A strong, young, very strong-willed young man, aggressive. You got to have a way to tame that and teach that and cultivate that into the right things.
Unconditional love, unconditional love, unconditional love. Like he was proud of you. Told you like he was hard. How hard?
He's from South Dakota and he was raised on a farm. So I took the belt a few times.
You got the belt.
Yeah, but he would do that. But then he would come in 15 minutes later, half an hour later, after my mom probably yelled at him. She instigated him going to smack me anyway.
Yeah.
Then he does it. And then he comes out and catches shit for it, basically. And then comes back in and would apologize to me and explain why he did it. And that was always the saving grace. Sometimes I think I got in trouble just to get the butt whipping, to see how far I could push it.
Wow. So you think a lot of times, in a way, you deserved it.
Oh, God, yeah. There's very few instances where I didn't deserve that.
Right. Because now, parents are like, you don't hit your children. You don't. And like, I'm not saying you should, but like, it seems like kids walk all over their parents these days. And so, when I was a kid, if I said something, Irv
would give it to you.
It wasn't Irv. Irv was my grandfather, but like,
I know, but my grandfather would give it to me.
Yeah. Irv never got mad at me. He never did that. But my dad was 6'5", big dude. So when it was, and I was a little guy. I didn't grow till after high school, but it was, that was the norm. We got spanked, and we got like all my friends growing up, and like, maybe
I never spanked my son, but I'd be a liar if I said I never smacked him on the butt when he wasn't listening.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or grabs your arm, when we're in the mall and I'm acting up.
Oh,
and
you get
get over here. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. That move.
What I used to do to piss my son off, and I still do it now just because it's so much fun, is give him a little skee ball in the back of the head.
Yeah.
That lights a fuse under his butt. My son's
Dad,
6'3".
don't.
Yeah, he's 6'3", 220, 215, whatever, and just a jujitsu fighter. So if I do that, it's usually on.
And you guys are going
go
at it
for a second and just wrestle until I tap because I get tired.
You were born in Michigan?
Yep, Mount Clemens, Michigan, at Selfridge Air Force Base.
Yeah, I grew up in Indiana. I was born in New York, but I grew up in southern Indiana. And, I don't know about you. You grew up on an Air Force base?
Well, I was only there till I was 3.
So you grew up in a neighborhood?
Yeah, in Cape Part housing, which was the military housing.
Oh, right. I just remember growing up in Indiana, and people that can't relate, but it's like cutting 3 yards, drinking out of garden hoses, playing wiffle ball, playing street hockey.
Exactly how I grew up.
Catching
but
fireflies.
We were surfing because I grew up in California.
Yeah.
Most.
And your mom wanted to pursue an acting career?
Oh, Mom. Yeah. So my mom was Miss Michigan International Speedway. She was a Playboy bunny who served at the clubs.
So she was hot.
Oh, Mom's hot. Yeah, there's no question.
Well, you said Mom's hot. She's still hot?
She's 78. But if you and I and 4 other people went to dinner and you took a glass of red wine and you just kind of swiped it under her nose, she'd be on the bar dancing.
Still to this day. So she wanted to be an actor. Was she acting at all in Michigan or anything? I know she was sort of this playmate sort of feel like personality.
Yeah, but she's a Playboy bunny, worked at the clubs, but she did have one photo shoot that she did do. And
naked?
It was like, well, let me explain. Yes, but backside, looking back over her shoulder with a see-through negligee on. Back when Playboy was a little more discreet. And,
yeah.
So I'm in 5th grade, and my mom had that picture next to her bed and everything. So I knew it was there. I knew it was my mom. I'm in 5th grade, and my buddy calls me up, and he's like, Dean, come over to the house right now. We had those regular phones, they're plugged into the wall.
Oh yeah.
And my buddy goes, you got to come over to the house. I found my dad's old Playboys, and I put them all in photo albums. Remember the old photo albums that used to have the little
the plastic you pull up back. You put I have those.
The full page things.
I do.
So you better get your pictures out of there soon because they don't last forever.
I know.
So he goes, come over. She goes, look at this. He opens it up and it's like, look at her, whatever, blah, blah. And he flips the page and he goes, look at her ass. And I go, that's my mom.
That's the first time you saw your mom like that?
I had seen my mom's picture because it was next to the bed on her bed, but the kids hadn't been up there. My friends hadn't gone to my parents' room.
How embarrassed were you?
Oh, no, wasn't even embarrassing. Didn't even think twice about it. I was like, that's my mom. And he was like, what?
Was he like, oh my God, that's your mom?
We laughed for probably an hour. We probably laughed so hard, I don't think we spoke for 40 minutes. And Darren Perman, if you're listening, it was you, buddy.
Darren, you pervert. So, all right. So, wow, this is incredible. You move out to.
I've never shared that story, by the way.
I love that story. That's a great story.
That's what happens when you get inside of me, Michael.
Are you an emotional guy? Do you get you cry in front of your kid?
Oh yeah.
You do.
Oh God, yeah. I was driving to LA go shoot a movie 2 weeks ago. And my son and his girlfriend are with me because they're going out there for something else. So we all went, instead of flying, I took a car. So I had to bring stuff back that I had left at my buddy's house. Stuff. So we're all driving along and my son's playing this song that I hadn't heard. It was Eminem. and somebody else, and it's about like his death, and he was talking to his girl, and his daughter's talking the whole thing. I'm driving the vehicle, and I hear this, and all I can hear is my baby boy's voice. And I'm driving, and I don't know if you've ever cried when you're driving, but you can't freaking see. It's like reading a book and crying. You can't read anymore because you can't see. I'm crying with those two in the car listening to this song. I was like, are you serious? So that sort of emotion, yes, I'm very open with.
You could have got a
CUI.
A crying.
I know.
You could have got a crying
driving under the influence of Eminem.
Yeah. So
emotion.
So that's sweet though. Like you have a soft side.
Oh God, yeah. The hardest guys I know, and I know some really hard guys, soldiers, and I was in Iraq, for 17 days with our men and women there. I've seen war. I don't like it. I'm a sworn deputy sheriff. I see a lot of awful.
So you
things,
had to go to cadet school or whatever. You got scholarship offers.
I got a lot of scholarship offers
for football. Were you always a big kid?
No, I was a pretty good sized kid, but I was always very skinny. Even by my freshman year in college, I was 175.
Right.
So I wasn't a big. I ran track. I played every sport under the sun, but I was a pretty good sized kid, but I wasn't a big kid.
So
I guess I was pretty.
Have the acting thing happen.
So all these other friends of mine started acting.
But like you were injured, your knee.
My knee. That's why I ended up in the NFL with the Buffalo Bills, right there.
Who signed it? Anybody?
Helmet. And there's the Princeton helmet. Although we didn't wear that helmet when I was there. That looks better. That's the current helmet.
So you played Princeton football, and then you got drafted, and you got hurt.
Free agent, but you hurt your knee. Yeah,
and that was it.
I didn't think that was it because they said, "Oh, we think you're going to have surgery," and I said, "All right, well, per the collective bargaining agreement at the time, I could choose my doctor, and I had been operated on previously by Kerlin Jobe over in Inglewood, so I wanted them to do it, not the Buffalo doctors, which I think might have ticked off Bill Polian, our general manager. He doesn't even remember it now. I've seen him since.
Right.
And he probably ticked him off, but it was in my right. And so I went back to California, had the surgery done, found out there was a bigger problem, a defect in my knee where I blew off a piece of cartilage. So they did this microfracture surgery. And the idea was that I was going to get better and come back the following season. They were going to waive me after I was healthy, but it never got healthy. And so I ended up having to file an injury grievance.
Were you heartbroken?
No, because I didn't think it was over. What's going on? I want to make sure. Is that you? My child. I ended up filing an injury grievance and winning that. I'm just making sure. Smart House is telling me everything that's going on. The doors open. This happened. Blah 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 blah. That's something I wasn't used to. Was Smart House, but the injury grievance. That ended my career. That was it. Once we got to the playoffs that year in November, and they cut me off of injured reserve, which was against the collective bargaining agreement. I sued an injury grievance, which means I know I'm out of the NFL, but I got my little baby undrafted free agent rookie money, which was a lot of money for me at the time.
Yeah.
Now it's way more.
Yeah.
But then it was a lot of money.
But from that, after that, that's when you started taking acting seriously?